Davids.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you to the Chairman and the Ranking Member, Ms. Titus, for holding this hearing today. And then, of course, thank you to our witnesses for taking the time to testify. I represent the 3rd District in Kansas, which is part of the greater Kansas City metro area and home to a pretty significant federal real asset footprint. And like a lot of places in the country with this kind of federal nexus, we do depend on the GSA to serve as a good steward of taxpayer resources and to serve as a fair landlord in our communities. And those expectations, of course, are no different for the assessment of a location, selection, and construction for the new FBI headquarters. So I do want to focus on the expressed needs that are at the center of this hearing, and some of this is a follow-up to some of the questioning we've heard from Ranking Member Titus and others. Mr. Demos, I'd like to hear, since the GSA and FBI began working on this project in 2011, can you tell me how many FBI employees have been moved from the National Capital Region, or NCR, to other FBI sites around the country?
Sure. So over the last several years, to your question, Congresswoman, the FBI has gone through a reassessment of the geographic location of our workforce. One particularly significant site for us has been our expanded presence in Huntsville, Alabama. We've actually been in Huntsville for 50 years through the Hazardous Devices School. But over the last decade in particular, a renewed investment for Huntsville, for technology positions, a training academy. At this point, we now have nearly 2,000 individuals in Huntsville today. We've also increased our presence in Pocatello, Idaho, and increased our presence and functions in Clarksburg, West Virginia. Of course, we operate in 56 separate field offices across the country. Over the past several years, we've also looked at opportunities of taking headquarters positions and pushing them back out to the field offices to ensure that we're supporting our field operatives where the cases are being run.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about how the calculation was made of the FBI employees in the new building over the course? I mean, it's been quite a few different years, or quite a few years. Can you talk a little bit about how that calculation plays into the site selection decision?
I just want to make sure I understand your question, Congresswoman. Can you just restate it for me, please?
Yeah, so I'm curious how when looking at the various sites in the site selection process, how are you thinking about the calculation with the employees that are going to be at the new headquarters with the movement of employees to places like Huntsville or Idaho?
Sure. So we've done an assessment of what are those functions that we think can operate effectively outside of the National Capital Region. Also, in particular, thinking about where we may have partners in other parts of the country where it may be valuable to be co-located with those partners. Not all partners are in the NCR. And also looking at where we quite frankly have available real estate. We had available real estate in Clarksburg, West Virginia, to be able to transition employees. And so kind of the net of that is, we still have a large multi-thousand presence here in the National Capital Region for those functions that we believe are important to be in close proximity to intelligence community partners, law enforcement partners here in the NCR, as well as having access to the tech talent of the vendor community. We rely on industry to support us in some of our high-tech mission space, and this is a region of the country that has a lot of tech industry.
Thank you. And then because it'll be 30 seconds hopefully for you to answer, Mr. Dooms, I'm curious if you could just, to follow on Mr. D'Esposito's line of questioning, the ability for folks to get to the building using transit and the parking situation, is that part of the equity consideration when deciding where that falls in terms of the priority levels?
Thank you for that question, Congresswoman. Actually, one of the criteria dealt expressly with transportation access and transit access. The Greenbelt site is 0.1 miles away from the metro station as opposed to Springfield, 0.5. There were also some other sub-criteria that dealt with the commercial airports and their proximity to that. But that is separate and apart from the criteria that deals with equity and sustainable development.
Okay, thanks. I just was curious and didn't know. Thank you so much. I yield back.
Chair thanks the gentlelady. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Tennessee, Representative Cohen.
Thank you, Chairman Perry. I appreciate you and the ranking member for holding the hearing and